Hockey Podcast, a trusted coaching resource. I'll be answering your questions, share best practices, and find out what's new in the hockey world. Thanks for listening, and welcome to the community.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hyland Hockey. We've got FAQ Wednesday. This is the time where I'll answer your questions. We'll go over best practices and basically just talk hockey for 10 minutes. So let's get into it. Here we go. Okay, so typically now, I don't think this matters for age. Shift lengths should be no more than a minute. Really, 45 seconds is the target. If you have older kids, you want to keep that 30 to 45. Younger kids, maybe you want to keep it closer to 45. But the idea here is quicker shifts. You stay fresh, your legs are fresh, you actually probably get more ice time. And then this way you're not out there for 2 minutes, and then as you get tired, you're not back checking, you're not really participating towards your team's success. So 45 seconds is ideal. Now, setting lines. This one's interesting. What I try to do, and we talk a little bit about this in the USA Hockey classes, is for forwards, work in pairs. Find two players that have good chemistry, that are compatible, can get the puck to each other, and then you can add the third person. Now, ideally, you want to have somebody who's a shooter, you want to have somebody who's a passer, and then you want to have somebody who's defensively responsible. But most important, I would say, you want to have somebody who's defensively responsible, right? So that way, you've got your two playmakers, and maybe that is the third player that you add in there. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to have, your first line be all your best players, second line, third, fourth, and fourth be the lowest guys. You can empower your fourth line. Give those guys some responsibilities. Don't get scored on. So you put a fourth liner on as that third guy on the top two lines, then they're going to be excited. They're going to work hard for you because you're giving them an opportunity. So that's a good best practice that I would recommend for shift lengths and setting lines. I'm actually going to take a step back. I'm an X's and O's junkie. I love it. I love watching NHL games and college games and breaking this down. But I don't know if we need to talk about forechecks right now. I would rather talk about concepts. And this is something that we really talk about through USA Hockey is concepts. So let's talk about inside out. Now, the idea here is that your first guy on the forecheck, right, we do not have the puck. His whole job is to make sure that the person with the puck, which is probably a defenseman, either skates to the outside towards the boards or passes to a winger on the boards. Make sure nobody goes in the middle, okay? So real quick here, and so here's the idea, is that if you've got a defenseman, and I'll try to get this close here, and you got your D here, and you've got your forward right here, you want your forward to take an exaggerated angle so that he can either skate here or he'll pass, because we'll have a winger who will read the play, and reading is also, another word is anticipation, right? Hockey's all anticipation. You'll have a defenseman and a winger here to create that turnover. So you could say this is a 1-2-2 or some version of a trap, but really the concept is inside out. So his job right here is to make sure this pass happens. Okay, we're controlling the play even though we do not have the puck, right? And also don't let them go D to D, because that's how you break every sort of breakout and regroup is always to go D to D and go up the weak side. Okay, so inside out is how I'd answer the question about systems. Now we can do another video down the line to get really detailed into these, and I'd probably like to do that. But right now I would say inside out is really important. Now this guy, you want to make sure, again, this winger, that it's easy to overread this play and get over here, have the winger step off the wall, and then have the pass come up the middle, which means now this guy's not doing inside out. He's outside in, and he's caught. Okay? So the boards are here. Boards are not going anywhere. We're going to steer them to the boards and squeeze them off. All right? Hope that helps. All right. And the last one for today is something called language lesson. And this is a good question. I think communication is very important. So first and foremost, this is not mine, Dr. Adam Naylor, who is a sports psychologist, and I'll put his information in the links below. This was in his book, and I read his book, and I thought this was amazing. And it's more about communication and how we talk to our kids. And this is something I try to get my parents to do on my teams when they're speaking to their kids. So Here's the idea, and it's basically the language of excellence. If kids' attention spans are short, we don't need to talk about the scoreboard because the score is already on the scoreboard. So let's don't talk about that. They know it. They also know who scored the goal. So what we do want to do when communicating is communicate the things that reinforce good habits in on-ice performance. Okay, I'll give you an example. So little Johnny scores a goal. So instead of saying, hey Johnny, great goal, what you'd say is, Johnny, I love the way you found open ice and you had your stick on the ice. Or I love how you had your feet moving. Your head was up. So as opposed to, you can still say good goal and all that. Hey Johnny, great goal. I love how you had your stick on the ice. Okay, now that stuff's important. So what you're doing is a kind of a Jedi mind trick here. We're reinforcing good habits without them really knowing it. So if we only have 20 seconds, 30 seconds to communicate, then we're going to focus and communicate on the things that reinforce good habits. Okay, I love that, and maybe I can do an interview with Dr. Adam Naylor on this very subject. But I will post this stuff below because it's great. He comes and talks to our level 4 at USA Hockey and does a great job. And he's worked with he works with the college programs. He's worked for major, junior. So he's really got a hockey focus for his background, and plus he's a really good guy. All right, so thanks for tuning in. Any good questions? The Ask FM link is in the description. You can also ask questions in the comment section. I'll try to do these once a week. All right.